I did that for my kids. Yeah, I did that for my kids and took the slower way with my son. So I have three kids, and when I said, you know what, I just kind of was just picking the names, and then when I went and picked his name, I saw it. I remember seeing it, placed it in the cart and everything. Something took my mind off of it. By the time I came back a month later, someone bought it the month before, and he was a baseball player. Isn't
Wow.
it so? It's just interesting and I share this because we're using our names, we're using our business names. If you're in the space of coming up with an online world, as you mentioned, grab the name, grab your name, because you're unless your name's going to change, but grab, a lot. And of course, if you have a common name, so most of those are already gone, but something close to that. So a lot of my friends, what they did, they would use the middle initial for their personal branding per se, and then their business, of course, usually those are available. But yeah, it's getting the names are getting very limited as to what it is that you can, because so many people are coming into the online space.
Yeah. And you don't want to get too like silly with it or off the wall with it because you want it to be easy for people to find you. So I did
Yeah.
global everywhere on social media, and that's my website. Not self-promoting here, but it is Sarah
No,
Rose.
what is it? If someone wanted to connect with you, how would they connect with you?
Anywhere online, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, website. It's all Sarah Rose Global. And then that way, if
Love.
you have your name, your brand across the board everywhere, then people know how to find you. Whereas if you're this thing here and you're that thing
Yeah.
there, and they're that, and then when you're on a podcast like this and they say, okay, well, where can people find you? Then you're like, well, on Instagram, I'm da da da. And like you could spend an extra 5 or 10 minutes like going through your different handles and
That's right.
just make life easy. Like, oh my gosh, I'm all about like simplifying business strategy. That is my tagline, actually. It's just keep it
Yes.
simple.
And you unified it. That's right. You unified it, in your presence, online presence. You unified your branding. That is so, so important. If you could share like 3 to 5 tips of someone who's looking into going into the online world, what would you share with them and how to start?
So I would say number one, you want to create a bigger vision for your life and for your business. So we're looking out maybe 5 years from now and beyond. So where would you be living in a perfect world? What city, what state, what country? And then what sort of house would you want to live in? I actually took a weekend and sat down and looked up houses in the neighborhoods of the city that I want. I want to live in Barcelona. And I looked up different houses. I looked up private schools for my daughter. I looked up
Mhm.
how much those private schools cost. I looked up how much would it be to have um, the car of my dreams. What would it cost to have this garden that I wanted to have installed in a pool? And where would I want to travel? And who would I want to spoil? And how would I want to spoil them? And what do all those look like? What is your business overhead? Who do you hire, for your team to help make your life easier, like a house cleaner or a VA or a social media strat, uh, marketing manager, different managers on your team. And so what does that overhead look like? So you've got to figure out like how much in a perfect world, if time or money were no object, what does your ideal life look like? And the number
I love that.
might be shocking to you. So you go, okay, and you're also putting in there your non-negotiables, like you only fly business class, you only stay at this kind of hotel, you only da 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 da, whatever, and your hobbies and how do you treat yourself and these sorts of things. So then that number comes out and you go, okay, so that's how many, I'm going to divide that number by how many clients I need per month. And now I know how much I need to charge for my program. Or if this is what I'm thinking for charging for my program, my service, my whatever, then this is how many clients I need to have. So you can see
Mm.
exactly how you can get there. And so now it's what are the steps you need to take from here to there?
The end game. The end game.
Yeah.
Have the end in mind.
Yeah. And then what is like the short-term goal? So like if you're desperate to leave your job or you've just been laid off or your husband or spouse or whatever, or something's going on or you're moving and you need whatever, what are the short-term goals that you need to escape that situation? So maybe that's a smaller number, but you can still say, okay, so if this is what I want to price my offer, this is how many clients I need, or vice versa. And I also see that this is scalable. So maybe where I'm only going to work with 5 people right now, maybe next year I could work with 20 people at a time. Maybe after I put that program together, it could be evergreen and I could sell that on my website. And maybe, and then you start to see the different possibilities that come up. Maybe there's a book in that, or a podcast, or a retreat, and you start to see the other streams of income that unfold.
I love it.
And only stay focused on one thing at a time, because a while ago I was like, okay, I gotta get my YouTube channel up. I'm starting a podcast. I'm gonna write a blog. I'm gonna write my book. And you can't do it all at the same time. And you don't want to hire someone to do it for you either, because if you don't know your messaging and you haven't mastered your platforms, how can you teach somebody how to do that for you? So that's number 2, is start, don't hire that out. I really can't recommend that strongly enough.
Yeah. It's like find your voice. And for you to find your voice is taking the action and doing the voice, right? You have to do it to say, gosh, I wanted to sound like Lucy Ball, or I wanted to sound like Nell Carter, but I'm finding out I'm really more Carl Andrews.
Right.
So you because you have to figure out, it's something you have to figure out. No one can do it for you. And you're absolutely correct. No one can. You have to do that work and then find out what that voice is.
And that patience, it takes a little while, because you might not see a ton of results, but don't stop putting yourself out there, because people will be watching. People are watching. So even if you don't get a like on that post, or there's no engagement on this one, or nobody comments during your live video, don't stop doing it. Just keep going, and knowing that it takes some people a little bit more time than others, and that your success is inevitable.
And one thing I'm learning with the online world, you have to be very careful of doing it for others, right? You're helping others, but not chasing that light. Do it because it's something that's good for you, right? It's because this is what you really feel. You feel that if leadership is key, you're not doing it just because you think everyone's going to like that. It's more because you truly believe leadership is key. That type of message, and it comes across if you're authentic about it too.
Well, and I think that's why you've got to also, this is another great tip, is to get into a high vibe every morning with a morning routine. You'll just feel so good, and then that feeling high vibration is going to translate into your day, and your audience is going to pick up on that in your messaging, or your live video, or the podcast that you're on. Or for me, I'm usually like super high vibe and like, woohoo, let's do this, let's go. And today I'm a little bit more laid back than I usually am. It's my daughter's first full day back with distance learning, and we had several hiccups this morning, and there was some frustrations, and friends calling in to say, where can you help, because we don't know what we're doing. And I'm like, well, we don't know what we're doing either. And so it's just been one of those crazy days, but you always show up when you say you're going to, is the best level version of yourself, to add more value and to give more of an impact. And this is my third or fourth tip, because this is what's going to help you stand out above the noise on social media as the expert in your field. Even if you're not there yet and you've got this imposter syndrome sort of kicking in, and you're like, well, why would anybody ever want to listen to me? I'm not earning 6 figures yet, or 7 figures yet. Well, you know what? You know more than they do. And if you keep showing up and testing your strategies and practicing and getting better, they will come. They will come. And in the beginning, you may feel like you're falling flat on your face. You may feel like it's part of it. Terrible, but you know what? You got to suck to get to be good. And then you got to be good to get great. And you got to get great so that you can actually master something, and then leverage that out and move on to the next stream of income.
But the key thing is you have to start.
That's it.
Right? You have to start.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times we get stuck with the mindset of, oh my God, I'm failing. And it's really having the mindset of, I'm experimenting.
That's it.
We're experimenting. Oops, this didn't work out too well. Truck along with it, move it along, and then try it again. But it's experimenting. So what is it that you need to experiment and learn from, right? If someone if hopefully doesn't kill someone, if it's not hurting someone in a sense, you're experimenting. Now,
Yeah.
failure if someone gets hurt.
Yeah,
But
that's good.
after, anything after that, I think after you have a couple of kids, you'll be like, oh yeah, this is experiment. We're good to
Yeah.
go. Let's go. And
Yeah.
then, and I think it's really been a good mind shift for me. What used to lock me in is the space of perfectionism. And so it's like if it wasn't perfect, if this didn't, now I'm so beyond that. It's like instead of perfection, I move into excellence. So if it's of quality, if it's of excellence, let's go.
Yeah.
I don't
The
have to
perfect
focus
is
on 100%. Yeah.
perfect is
So
not
I'm loving.
duplicatable. And what we
Yeah.
do for our clients and our teams, it has to be duplicatable. It has to be something that you can pass on to someone and say, okay, now you can go do this because I've taught you how.
Yeah.
Perfection is not duplicatable. So I'm the same. I mean, having been an interior designer, I do have a degree of it.
Yes.
But then I do also go, done is better than perfect. This might not be
I
the
like that.
exact thing, but it's close enough
Done.
for now until I can come back and get it exactly as such.
I love it. And
Like get a
any,
website up there. Like get just
yes,
even if it's a one
get it
page for
done.
right now, like do that one thing and then you can always go back and like
I love it.
improve. Yeah.
So I know that, we could be here forever because this is such a fantastic topic. Any advice that you would share, final advice that you would share with our audience?
Yes, I think, oh my gosh, well, there's so much. But first of all, I would say definitely have a personal growth and development program as part of your DMO, your daily method of operation.
Mhm.
Because not every day is going to be rainbows and unicorns. You're going to get tired. You're going to feel burned out. You're going to wonder if you were ever cut out for this thing. You're going to wonder if it's ever going to come together. And you got to have your mindset right. And so if you're not into like massively into personal growth and development, it's really hard to pull yourself out of that downward spiral that leads to burnout and self-sabotage. So for me, I always have a book nearby. I'm always learning more about,
Yeah.
being a better leader, being a better whatever, and then we can rise higher and show up better for ourselves, our families, our communities, our audiences, our clients, our team members, because we just keep getting richer and what goes in
Mm.
comes out. So if you've got a rich mind, an
Yeah.
enriched mind, that's going to come out in everything you do and you're just going to make so much more of an impact on others as well.
And I didn't catch the name of that book. What was the name? What is it a book that you would suggest?
Yes, it's
Way
called
of the Wolf.
Way of the Wolf. Jordan
Ah.
Belfort. And my mentor recommended this book. I heard her recommend it like 3 times within a week. And I went, hold on a minute. If you hear something once and your mind goes, I maybe should do that, you go, but then you get busy, right? You see something twice, you're like, okay, I need to start
Yeah.
paying attention. Third
Yeah.
time, it's like the universe going, hey,
Yeah.
over here.
It's time to look into it for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Do you have, since you're a reader, do you have a one all-time book that you would recommend
Oh,
as an entrepreneur, as a person? Really, it just a one. If there is one book that's on top of mind for you that you say, you know what, I think everyone would really benefit from this book.
I have to say it's timeless. And it would be Napoleon
Um,
Hill's Think and Grow Rich.
One of my favorites. That's it.
It's really all you need.
Yeah,
Everything, every secret is in that book.
I love it. So, Sarah Rose, how do you serve others? What is your purpose into what it is that you're doing?
My mission, my purpose is to simplify online business strategies and take out the frustration and the overwhelm for female entrepreneurs and help them grow a sustainable legacy business that they love, that they enjoy, that they have fun, that they're building in flow and not forcing, and living their best life so that they can help others to live their best life too. And it's just this knock-on effect of the more money we make, the higher we rise, the more of an impact we make, the better and the good that we can do for the collective throughout the world, especially in these
Wow,
crazy times, right? And beyond.
I love it. Thank you so much for stopping by, speaking with us on your inspired journey. And I'm sure you've inspired someone to look into, even if they were doing a local business, but taking it to the next level, taking it online and having that presence so that others beyond their community can reach out to them. Thank you so much
That's
for that.
it. Pivot if you must, but don't ever, ever give up on your dream.